In this video, we will show you how to replace your rear shock assembly on this Honda Accord. This is part of your rear suspension located inside of your rear wheel well. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we need to do is safely raise and support the rear of the vehicle so the wheels are off the ground. Once you've done that, continue on with all 4 of your 19mm lug nuts, the hubcap, and the wheel. Now that we have the wheel off, let's carefully make our way under the vehicle. You can see the bottom of the rear shock. We're going to apply a little bit of support under this area, and then we can use our 17mm to remove the mounting hardware. To remove the mounting bolt, you may find that you have to apply upward pressure on this portion of the rear shock. Now we can make our way from under here into the trunk of the vehicle. Looking in the trunk of the vehicle, you're going to find that you have a release handle for your rear seat. Go ahead and pull on that and push the rear seat forward. If this doesn't open, you may have to unlock the seat, and that would be done from inside of the passenger compartment. We're going to start removing the seat bolster. It's a little bit difficult to gain access to, but if you were to push down on the lower seat cushion, you can see it down inside this area. We'll be using a 10mm to remove that. Take hold of your seat bolster, lift it up, and remove it from the vehicle. With that out of the way, you can see part of the mounting hardware, but we can't gain access to the rest of it. We're going to have to remove the trim panels from the area. Starting with the upper trim panel, go ahead and grab up along the top here and pop that out of place. Now we can get this trim panel out of the way. You'll find you have a plastic push clip. Use a trim tool or small prying device. Take hold of that, give it a wiggle, and remove it from the vehicle as well. Now we can gain access by pulling that away. Let's start out here with our 14mm. We're going to remove the mounting nut, start it back on just a couple threads, and then we'll remove the inboard one as well. Reach inside the wheel well, hold onto your shock, and you can fully remove this mounting nut. Back under the rear suspension, we can start removing that rear shock. Just pry it out of place if necessary. Now, if you have enough room, you could pull it out down through the bottom. Otherwise, just bring it out through the wheel well. Let's prepare to install our brand new rear shock. Once again, you can come through the wheel well if you want, or underneath the rear suspension. We'll bring this up. As you start to align it, you want to pay attention down along the bottom. We need this lower area to align with the knuckle. At the same time as you do have this aligned, you need to make sure that the upper mounting hardware is aligned with the body of the vehicle. If it's not, spin the shock 180 degrees. At this point, if you need to, you can start one of your upper mounting nuts on. Otherwise, we'll just hold on to this. You may have to pry down on the rear suspension to get this aligned. Use a 17mm wrench on this. You should be able to pivot this just enough that you can use a hammer and give it a couple loving bonks to drive it through. If you find you have a welded nut on the forward side there, you can only come through so far. We need to get this aligned so we can start it in. If you do not have a welded nut, you're going to have to continue on by sourcing a 10 by 125 mounting nut for this. Let's start it on there. Before we can tighten this, we're going to apply upward pressure on the rear suspension. Since I don't have a welded nut, I'll be holding onto this. These are 17 millimeters. Snug this up, torque it to 40 foot-pounds. Remove your support. If your vehicle has a hubcap, install that now. You want to make sure you pay attention to the valve stem hole. We'll get that aligned with the valve stem on the wheel. Start on all 4 of your 19 millimeter lug nuts, bottom them out. We'll get the wheel safely back down on the ground and we can torque each of these lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds. With the wheel on the ground, we'll torque these in a crisscross manner. Torqued. In the passenger compartment, we already have one of our upper mounting nuts started on here. Let's start on the other one. After that, snug them up and torque those to 28 foot-pounds. Move along to your side trim panel. For this, we know we have our push pin hole along the bottom. We'll make sure we have that aligned, and up along the top, you do have an area that you're going to push down into the body of the vehicle, right along here. Press that down. Now, since whenever you do a rear shock, you do them as a pair, we're going to pause on installing the center trim panel and do the exact same process on the other side of the vehicle. Once you've completed that and you're at this point, install the trim panel. Now we can install the trim panel here. Looking along the bottom of it, you'll find that you have several locking tabs. And if you were to look at the body of the vehicle, you'll find the mounting points up along the top here, making their way across. We'll align this and press it down into the proper position. Now we can install the seat bolster. Along the bottom, you have the area for the mounting bolt. You'll also have a locating tab, and directly above that, at the top, you have a second locating tab. We'll make sure we get this in the proper position in the vehicle. When installing this, you want to make sure that you have the seat belt and the buckle out of the way. Let's get this lined up, press it down. Let's close the rear seat. Now we can get our mounting bolt in here. We'll have to press this down, align everything, start it in by hand. It's a little bit hard to line up and start in. We'll use our 10 millimeter and snug it up. Okay, friend, once you've finished both sides of your rear shocks, go ahead and take your vehicle for a road test down to your local alignment shop. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.